What if the most extraordinary journeys begin not with grand adventures, but with the quiet acceptance of life's simple truths? My name is Vivian, and until recently, my life was a meticulously curated collection of accomplishments. A career as a celebrated architect, 2 grown children with enviable lives, and a home that could grace the pages of a magazine. I had achieved a picture of success. Yet, beneath the gloss, an emptiness gnawed. It whispered doubts about the choices I had made, the dreams I postponed, the very essence of who I'd become. Then came the diagnosis: idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, incurable, terminal. The doctor spoke of treatments and timelines, but all I heard was the echo of finality. Carefully constructed world crumbled. Fear, raw and suffocating, became my constant companion. Initially, I fought. I researched every article, contacted every specialist, desperate to find a loophole, a cure, a miracle. I raged against the injustice of it all. Why me? Why now? I had so much left to do, so much left to prove. But the disease relentlessly tightened its grip, stealing my breath, limiting my world. My children, bless their hearts, rallied. They rearranged their lives, filled my days with appointments, and smothered me with love. But their presence, however well-meaning, felt like a constant reminder of my impending departure. I felt like a burden, a project to be managed, not a mother to be cherished. One afternoon, gasping for air after a particularly grueling therapy session, I snapped. "Just let me be." I cried, pushing them away. The hurt in their eyes mirrored the pain in my own heart. Shame washed over me. They were only trying to help. I retreated. I locked myself in my meticulously designed living room, surrounded by the symbols of my past triumphs, and wept. The emptiness yawned wider than ever. The next morning, a crisp autumn sunlight streamed through the windows. I found myself drawn to the small, neglected balcony off the living room. It was overgrown with weeds, the paint peeling, a stark contrast to the pristine interior. It had been years since I'd even noticed it. Something compelled me to step outside. The air, though thin, felt invigorating. I saw for the first time the vibrant colors of the changing leaves in the park across the street. I heard the laughter of children playing, the distant hum of the city, the gentle rustling of the wind. An old, forgotten terracotta pot sat in the corner, filled with nothing but dirt. On a whim, I asked my daughter to buy me some flower seeds. Nasturtiums, I specified. The bright orange ones. She looked at me strangely, but complied. That afternoon, with trembling hands, I planted the seeds. The simple act of pressing the tiny specks into the earth felt surprisingly grounding. It was a connection to life, to hope, to something beyond myself. I started spending more time on the balcony. I weeded, watered, and waited. The physical exertion left me breathless, but the anticipation filled me with a quiet joy. Slowly, tentatively, green shoots emerged. Then tiny buds. Finally, the vibrant orange flowers burst into bloom. They were imperfect, fragile, and fleeting, but they were beautiful. And so began my transformation. The balcony became my sanctuary. I filled it with more plants, herbs, vegetables, small trees. I learned about the soil, the sun, the subtle nuances of nature. I discovered a world I had been too busy to notice before. My children, initially puzzled, began to join me. We sat in silence, admiring the blooms, sharing stories, simply being present. The tension dissipated, replaced by a newfound ease. One day, my son pointed out a small bird building a nest in one of the trees. "Look, Mom," he said, his voice filled with wonder. Life goes on. His words resonated deeply. I realized that my fear had blinded me to the beauty that still surrounded me, to the connections that still mattered. My impending death didn't negate my life, it illuminated it. I started writing letters to my grandchildren, sharing stories of my childhood, my dreams, my regrets. I wanted them to know me, not as the successful architect, but as the woman who had loved, laughed, and learned. I reconnected with old friends, forgiving past hurts, expressing gratitude for shared memories. I volunteered at a local hospice, offering companionship to others facing their final days. I stopped fighting the disease and started living with it. I accepted my limitations,
but I focused on what I could.
Still do. I savored every sunrise, every shared meal, every moment of connection. The nasturtiums continued to bloom, their vibrant color a constant reminder of the beauty that can be found even in the face of death. One evening, as I sat on the balcony, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and gold, my daughter asked me, "Mom, how are you so at peace?" I smiled.
I finally realized, I said, that life is not about the things we accumulate, but about the moments we cherish. It's not about the dreams we achieve, but about the connections we make. It's not about avoiding death,
but about embracing life in all its messy, imperfect glory. My journey wasn't about finding a cure,
but about finding meaning. It wasn't about escaping death,
but about embracing life. It was about letting go of the past and living fully in the present. I learned that true wisdom isn't found in grand pronouncements or profound philosophies, but in the simple act of noticing the beauty around us, of connecting with the people we love, of accepting the impermanence of all things. The disease continued its relentless march, but it no longer held the same power. It had stripped away the superficial, the unnecessary, leaving me with only what truly mattered: love, connection, and a deep appreciation for the gift of life. I died peacefully, surrounded by my family, with the scent of nasturtiums filling the air. My life may have been shorter than I had hoped, but it was richer, deeper, and more meaningful than I could have ever imagined. And that, I believe, is the greatest success of all: to find joy not in what you achieve,
but in who you become. To find peace not in avoiding death,
but in embracing life.
To leave behind not a legacy of accomplishments, but a legacy of love. Remember, the most extraordinary journeys often begin not with grand adventures, but with the quiet acceptance of life's simple truths.